Hi, everyone. Welcome to our next Dev Bites here at Inflection Studios. I'm Aaryn Flynn, CEO at Inflection.
And I'm Neil Thompson, who was trying to drink his coffee, the art director and head of audio.
Yeah, just after lunch here. Got a haircut finally after a long spring and summer with no haircut. So you would not have liked to see me without my haircut. Too shaggy, too miserable to look at.
I know.
Yeah, all I heard from Neil was jokes about my haircut. So, but I finally got a haircut. So a few things to go over today, especially around the dedicated server and next steps with that. You've all been very great in PTR helping us test that. As you know, this has been something we've been working on for quite some time now, and we talked about in our last Dev Bites getting to more information about where we want to take Nightingale with this new technology, new available things for you. So we're going to get to that today. But first and foremost, another big thank you to everybody who's helped test it in PTR and giving us all the information that we could help with that. We've put a few revisions out of it. We fixed some bugs in it too, which is really good. And I know you've had a lot of fun with the admin panel, the cheats, something we used for years on the game to help us develop it. So that's been really cool. Okay. Well, as you know, if you recall, the reason we've been evaluating the dedicated server is largely around looking at our player analytics and understanding just how you all as players are choosing to play. Certainly, there are those of you who are playing with your friends and playing in groups, and that's awesome. We love to see it. We've been chatting with our friends and colleagues over at Funcom about how watching the groups of players play Dune and such. So it's really awesome when groups of people jump in and play Robocop games together, and we always wanted to do that with Nightingale. By the same token, though, we also know there's lots and lots of you who play solo or asynchronously with your friends. So someone might be on, and someone else might then log out, and that person may join that realm or do something there too. So we did a lot of work to make this big infrastructure and support that, and our team did amazing on that over the years, but it never really reached critical mass for us. It never got to the point where it was the defining feature of Nightingale. And so the dedicated server helps us to balance that out and give you all an alternative to play that lets you have more control over it with things like the admin panel and gives you more freedom to how to do those things. So with all that's been happening in the PTR and all the feedback, we've made the decision to sunset that infrastructure that we've been hosting there and migrate all of your character data and all of your world data, all of your realm data to the private servers, to the private hosting option. Now, that's maybe not the best news. We're certainly sad to see that go here. Again, our team put an enormous amount of work into it, but they also put a lot of work into the dedicated server. And so this does have some advantages for us as a studio. First and foremost, it's less expensive for us to manage. We spend thousands and thousands of $1,000s every month on that infrastructure, just maintaining it, keeping it up. And by not having that, we can put that money to other things like content updates, things like that. It also gives you more freedom, so you're not beholden to us on a variety of things when we have to bring servers down, something like that. So you get a lot more freedom, potentially even modding potential. And certainly you have control over it. So you have complete control over that dedicated server, how you want to host it, how you want to do that. So that's the decision. You've been very great with us, helping us get this thing set out. And with that, we're confident now we can give a great Nightingale experience to you with that private hosting option, which allows us to migrate your character data and realm data that way, and then lets us take offline those main servers we've been hosting and paying for since the game launched.
Yeah, I think, it's an important step for Nightingale, but also I think we should reiterate you do not lose any progress as a result of this change. Your characters are absolutely intact, so all that work that you put into those characters, it's preserved when we make this change.
Yeah, I can't emphasize that enough, Neil. It was so important when we worked on this option and when we struggled to make sure this was going to be viable for all of you as players, that this was front and center. We couldn't compromise the ultimate playable experience that you will get and you put so much time into. So at that, we're going to keep that service open for a long time. So the migration should be very straightforward and very simple. It should download those characters. Really what we're doing is we're moving from a server-hosted or realm-centric model to a player-centric one, right? So that now your character can move from realm to realm. Your character is locally hosted. And this is how many survival games work. A lot of survival games we played and to inspiration from Nightingale, they all work this way. So it's definitely a benefit for us. We hope you see the value in it too. We hope that ultimately it's seamless for you, and we will work hard to make sure it is. But that's where we're going with this. And I want to thank you for all your support and do that. And, Neil and I talk about this a lot here. When you look at the state of the industry right now and you look at a lot of the, bad news stories that are going on, we've had our share of those too. But you think about those, you think we're just so important to us that we do make the decisions that keep our studio being viable, put our dollars towards the things that matter the most, which is, fun new content updates for the game, long-term viability for our developers. And so this helps us do that too.
Yeah, totally. I mean, as we sit here and record this now on Thursday, it's only, 4 days since the big news at the beginning of the week that affected so many developers within the industry. And it's shocking to hear news like that, but it just goes to show that it's a fragile industry, and even the largest studios are not safe, effectively.
No, and it's incumbent on all of us to be very judicious with how we spend that money. And obviously, we owe you so much as our players, and we want to do right by you. And so this is the balance we are trying to strike right now, and make sure that works. So that's pretty much the news for now. There'll be things coming out, blog posts and how-tos and documents like that they'll put out to help you do this. And we're also hosting an AMA. So we'll have another AMA next week, or sorry, when this goes out, it'll be that week, an AMA shortly here to go through this. And we'll take as much time as we have to answer your questions about stuff, and we'll be in there. So that's all coming too. So again, thank you for your support. Thank you for your consideration on this. And we will be chatting soon. Oh, you got your Black Sabbath news.
What's my Black Sabbath news? No, I think it's worth noting that it was Black Sabbath and Ozzy's final show at the weekend.
Yeah.
Through my teen years, massive Sabbath fan. I went to see Ozzy in 1984 at the Bark at the Moon tour with Jakey Lee playing guitar, and Jake was there.
You should this you put on Facebook, but you should snip your embroidered jack. I just should split that.
I have a Tony Iommi guitar as well with the glasses on it.
Wow, I don't know who that is. Yeah, I actually do it first. I only because Neil Thompson full of time. Okay. Well, there you go, folks. Thanks again for the consideration. We will chat with you at the AMA, and any questions, please bring them there. We will cover as best we can. Okay. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care.